Hi there. I know that I can't see your face, but I thought you might want to see my face. It's kind of been a while. Um, One of these days I'm going to have some sort of Zoom or something that we can all see each other because that was requested by one of you, so I thought that'd be a good idea. I was reading all of your results, and there are a few things that I had to write down because I thought it was so funny. Like, Arya, you're finally sleeping. I'm very proud of you. Keep it up. And Tyler used the biggest word of all of them, copious. Like, it's not that big of a word, but it just screams Tyler. There's just so many ways when you guys are talking about your things that you screamed your personality, what you were saying. Like Rhea and her rant. Thank you for that. That was awesome. So it made me think, like, I was thinking about what am I going to do? We have to basically review for the AP test, right? Like, that's kind of what we're doing. Obviously, AP has taken out units 8 and 9, so all the content is really done. We've got 1 through 7 to go over in like 2 months worth of time. How am I going to make this exciting? What are we going to do to make this great? And at first I was thinking, well, all right, we'll just do practice problems. What else are we going to do? But then after I was reading all the responses and things like Jasmine talking about her Disney movies that she's watching, good for you, I thought to myself, this is like all their voices just, you guys just made me think about how awesome these classes are that you guys are. And I really have missed our time together. We can't be face to face. Here's my lovely face, but I can't see yours. And I think that we can still have a lot of fun though. If we just did review all the time, I just, it's just boring. I can't handle it. And I'm guessing that you can't either too. So I've been trying to think about ways that I can make it exciting. I've got some ideas. I hope I don't let you down, but I'm going to try to do something so it's not just terribly awful. We'll see what we can do. So I want you to know that I heard your voices in your answers, and although you weren't actually speaking them like your actual voices, the way you write really shows your voice and your different personalities, and I thought that was awesome. And it really made me miss you all. All right, sap over. You know I'm not good with that. So I do want to go over some questions some people had. So if at this point you're like, I don't have any questions about the questions that you did today, you can stop listening. That's totally fine. Just like skim past or whatever. I'm going to try to put something exciting into each video if I can, but I don't want to waste a lot of your time. So I've got something at the very end if you want to take a look at the very end if you're like, I don't need to listen to anything. But taking a look at the screen that we got here, you can see that the way people ranked how they were feeling pretty much up in the upper part. So 3 through 5, I'm thinking to myself, we just need to like relook at things. From the stuff that you did, the short answer one, although we kind of got it, we didn't do it very well. So AP, since it's all free response, we really need to communicate exactly what we know because it's all laying on there. So I'm definitely going to go over that for Unit 1 when we get to this. So the first 7 days here, I'm just going to get data from you guys and then start planning on how I can make this happen and start planning on how I can make this kind of interesting and not so terribly boring. That's kind of what I'm doing. So I'll give you the fair warning that the first 7 days, not super exciting. Then I'll try to bring my A game as best as I can. Okay, so that was that. And then when we're looking at people who did the questions, first of all, Josh, like you did the questions 3 times. Good for you. That's awesome. I think Roger did a couple times too. I love it. Or people were putting in your name. So that could also be. So Josh, I'm not really sure. Looking at a few questions, people asked me to look at 3, 6, 10, 11, and 13. Here I want to go. 3. This one I have on here. Okay. So when we're looking at this problem, a student has a 1-gram sample of each of the following compounds, blah, blah, blah. The question is really talking about moles here. So it's asking which one has the greatest number of moles. So from that, if I have 1 gram for everything, I'm going to have to convert out of grams into moles. So there's 1 mole on top and the grams on the bottom. So that's when I've got to look at my periodic table and actually look at the molar masses of each of them, which I actually have here. So then if I'm looking at KBr, K is 39 plus 80. So this is 39 plus 80 for a molar mass. KCl, that's another 39 plus Cl is a 35. And NaCl is a 23 plus a 35. So if I want to have the greatest number of moles number up here, then I've got to have a gram number on the bottom that is the lowest number. And that will give me the greatest number of moles. So the lowest number right here is NaCl. So that would put this lowest number here, which would make my number of moles the greatest number on this spot. So that's why the answer should have NaCl in the greatest spot. So D is what I'm looking at there. Okay. Then the next question is looking at number 6. So which of the following ground state electron configurations represent the atom that has the lowest first ionization energy? So ionization energy is the amount of energy it takes to remove an electron. So the lower the ionization energy, the easier to remove. Now, if I look at these electron configurations, the one that's the easiest to remove is going to be the outer electron. So we have to look at these outer electron spots. And the one that's going to be the easiest is that 3s1. It's in the third energy level. It's the furthest away from the nucleus, so it's not held very tightly. So that's why D is the answer there. Looking at number 10. Okay, first ionization energies for element X are listed in the table above. On the basis, what is the element of X? So here's where I want to look and see where's this greatest like freakish jump. Like when I go from the first ionization energy to the second, it's kind of like doubled-ish. I go from 1800 to 2700, it's kind of doubled-ish. But then when I go from 2700 to 1100, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, that's a humongous amount of jump. So when I let go of the first electron, the second and the third, it's okay, it's not super hard. But if I let go of the fourth electron, that's like really hard to do. So I'm going to look on the periodic table here. So 1, 2, 3. So if I have like boron, I let go of its first electron, it's okay. I let go of the second electron, that's okay. I let go of the third electron, that's okay. But if I want to let go of this fourth electron, that's at a lower energy level, and that's really hard to do. So that's why something like boron or aluminum or gallium, it'd be any of these ones could be the unknown element. So I'm going to look at the answers, look for boron, aluminum, or gallium. Boron, aluminum. So that's why C would be the answer there. Because suddenly you've taken from a lower energy level, way harder to do. It's so close to the nucleus that it doesn't want to let go of it. 11. Which of the following best helps account for the fact that fluorine ion is smaller than the oxygen ion? Okay, so let's look at the periodic table. We're looking at F1 minus and O2 minus. F1 minus is like we're looking at neon. O2 minus is like we're looking at neon. So both of them is like we're looking at neon. The only difference here is that the oxygen one happens to have 2 electrons, more than it would normally have, and fluorine has 1 electron more than it normally has. The other difference is how many protons it has. Because remember, size is dependent on how well does that nucleus hold on to the electrons. So oxygen happens to have 8 protons, and fluorine has 9. 9 protons create a greater, stronger hold, a greater effective nuclear charge. Going back to that word. So the effective nuclear charge, or the ZEF, is greater, which holds the electrons in tighter and makes that fluorine ion actually a smaller ion than the oxygen. It's about the effective nuclear charge, or the protons in the center. So if I look at my answers here, it's not about electron activity, polarizability. Number of electrons might be nuclear mass. No, it's about nuclear charge. F has a larger nuclear charge than oxygen. I kind of dwindle it down to like B and C because one's about electrons, one's about nuclear charge, but F has more electrons. We know that they actually have the same number of electrons. They happen to both have 10 electrons. It's just that F has a greater number of protons or nuclear charge to hold them in. And then my last one is 13. Okay, all the chlorides of the alkaline earth metals have similar empirical formulas, as shown in the table above. Which of the following best explains this observation? So the alkaline earth metals are all of these in this second column here. And I know that you know that in that second column, like magnesium is a 2+ charge because he loses 2 electrons. So the question that kind of dwindles down to, well, why is it always MgCl2, CaCl2, SrCl2? It's because Sr and Mg and Ber are always a 2+ charge. And they have a 2+ charge because it's easy to remove those 2 outer electrons. That goes back to this data table here. The first 2 would be easy to remove. The third one would be really hard if you're an alkaline earth metal. So here, looking at the answer, the 2 valence electrons of the alkaline earth metals are relatively easy to remove. C would be the answer. Okay, that's mine. That's the 5 on my list that people asked to look at. The other one would be the short answer, but I'm not going to go into that because I'm going to spend more time. That's a topic we need to re-look at for Unit 1. There's some hot ones that I think will be on the free response questions for the AP test, and this would be one of them that I think is going to be on there. So I'm going to kind of look at, like, of each unit, what kind of free response questions would they do and what have they done in the past. That's kind of my job to kind of like assess, like, what's my game plan? What do I think they're going to do? For Unit 1, I think they're going to throw in a PES. There's, of course, going to be a mole problem in there somewhere, but that's not the big idea of this. They're going to throw in a PES, and they're going to throw in basically like a free response question that we have here, something about how you're losing electrons and how that has to do with number of electrons or effective nuclear charge or something. So we'll talk about that later. Right now, you're just kind of showing me what you know. It's okay if you're not studying anything. I'm really okay with that. Okay. Well, that's what I got for there. But I've been working on, with my kids, we do like art time every day. So I don't know if you've ever read the book, like, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, but it's a favorite in my house. And so I recently learned how to draw the pigeon. So I kind of wanted to show you how to draw it here. I'm going to draw you a pigeon. He's got a big old eye. And I've learned that where you put the eye inside of there is actually really important, and it shows how he's feeling. So if you put the eye like up here, he's kind of looking up like, what? What do you mean? It's not that big of a deal. While if you have the pigeon, if his eye's like really big, he's like scared. Oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm getting into this artsy kind of stuff. Here's my pigeon. Isn't he cute? If you haven't read Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, you might want to. And here is my pigeon, where he's kind of sad. And all I did was change like the different eye. I thought that was super interesting. I'm not that really artsy of a person, but that's something I've learned on my break. I'm hoping you're learning something too. According to what I read with all of your things, a lot of people are taking up piano. A lot of people are cooking a little bit more, and I'm impressed by that. So there's your little art lesson by Stout. It's really good to be back. I'd like to do the best I can to help you. We're going to stick it out. We're going to make it through. I'll see you there.